Hello everyone and Happy New Year. Welcome to part 9 of my 18-part video series in which I'll be reading passages from my autobiography, Odd Man Out, True Stories of a Gay Black Swimmer. I've got a lot of celebrating to do today. Not only is this the first day of the new year, but this is also the halfway point of my video series. As I said, there's 18 parts of this. I just am continuing to be thankful for everyone who's been following me along on this journey as I bring the message of my book out to the general public. I am very thankful for those of you who have bought a copy of my book. I've been very happy to sign a copy and send it along to you. As I have been saying for the past 8 editions of this, the book will be reverting to $20 today. So if you buy a signed copy by clicking the link in the description box below, then you'll see it advertised for $20, which is still a great deal. I again just want to thank the people who have subscribed, who have given me positive feedback, who have commented on the videos, and I look forward to continuing to bring you more readings from this book. I can guarantee you they're going to get more compelling, more emotional, more interesting. And I hope that for those of you who have not bought a copy of the book, that it will continue to pique your interest. And as I said, just go in the description box below when you are ready to buy a copy, and I will be more than happy to sign it and send it along to you. So let's get to today's reading. It's going to be a little bit long because there's a lot to cover. In part 8, I read about my experience in Colorado Springs at the Olympic Training Center, where I was a member of the resident national team for USA Swimming. And in 1998, 2 years after I moved to Colorado Springs, I retired from swimming. And I had a choice of where to live next. It was either go back to Austin, where I was in college, or to move up to Denver. And I decided to move to Denver because it was only a 45-minute drive north, as opposed to going to Austin, which was a 12-hour drive. And I just didn't want to deal with that. So today's passage will be describing what happened to me the summer of 1999, 1 year after I moved to Denver. In June 1999, I saw ads plastered all over the gay bars advertising Denver's Gay Pride Parade. What? Gay people have a parade? I was blown away by it. I had never heard of such a thing happening. This was yet another indication of the sheltered life I led before moving to Denver. I knew that Austin had its splash weekend during Labor Day, but I don't recall gay people ever taking to the streets to show off their pride. If it did happen in a city I lived in, I must have been so focused on my swimming to notice. The Denver parade was going to take place in the heart of the city and run right up to City Hall. This was not to be missed. On a warm Sunday in late June, I made my way from City Park in downtown Denver to Colfax Avenue just a few streets away to watch the Gay Pride Parade. What I saw on the way to the parade route was more than enough to satisfy my curiosity for the day. There were drag queens in broad daylight, men holding hands with other men, and women holding hands with other women. Some of them were even kissing in public. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. The streets around the park and the parade route were so packed it was difficult to walk, and I think I encountered every variety of gay man and woman in a 100-yard radius. As I waited for the parade to start, I played a little game with myself. I watched the spectators and wondered what they did for a living. The short and stocky man wearing a leather vest, leather collar, and shiny boots was probably a necktie-wearing accountant during the week. The feminine acting 20-something was probably a shoe salesman. The mullet-wearing woman looked like a truck driver, but could have easily been a school teacher. It wasn't surprising that there were so many gay people gathered for the event, but that there was a day that they could all come together and celebrate the joys of being gay. The journalist in me was curious about the genesis of the Gay Pride Parade, so I asked a few people. Gay Pride Month is held every June and commemorates the Stonewall riots in New York, in which gay people finally rebelled against police harassment during a raid at the Stonewall Inn in June 1969. It was a watershed moment for gay rights, and it sparked a lot of protests and marches around the country. I now understood why gay people had to have a parade. They had been pushed down to second-class citizens in the 1960s and 1970s, and the events of Gay Pride Month showed how strongly gay men and women felt about being treated equally. The fight for gay marriage is just one of the issues gays have marched for in the 4 decades hence. When the parade started, I was instantly hooked. It was like Mardi Gras. Shirtless men in thongs passed by on floats, dancing to the beat of pulsing music. Many who walked the parade route handed out beaded necklaces and unsolicited kisses to the spectators. The cheering was deafening. The parade lasted for almost an hour, and I saw so many organizations that supported gay rights. Some were nonprofits helping to raise money for AIDS research. Others were trying to spread the word of tolerance. One of those groups was PFLAG, or Parents and Friends of Lesbians and Gays. On the PFLAG float stood a number of mothers and sons who waved to the crowd. This float seemed to get the largest amount of cheers from the crowd. I wondered if my mom would willingly become a member of PFLAG. That is, if she knew I was gay. After a couple of hours, I decided I'd had enough and wandered through the park to my car. At the edge of the park was a booth advertising a swim club called Squid, or Swimming Queers United in Denver. Curiosity stopped me cold in my tracks. One of the guys in the booth noticed me reading the brochure and told me more about the team. He asked about my swimming experience, particularly if I could swim a length of the pool. All I said was yes, without giving more away. He asked if I could swim all 4 strokes. Again, I was very vague and only said yes. He said there are swimmers of all levels and the team encourages competition, though no one is forced to do so. He said there are masters meets in Denver about 3 or 4 times a year, and there are national and international meets the team travels to as well. I was in disbelief. I had never heard of any kind of organization that holds competitions for adult swimmers. I always thought that competitive swimming was not an option after a swimmer ended his participation with USA Swimming. In Austin, there were always adults that swam after our workouts, but I never fathomed they could be part of an organized team. I learned a lot about master swimming that day, and the best thing I heard was that the meets have shorter distances than are normally done in competition. Not only do they do 50 yards or meters of all the strokes, but there is 100 individual medley. The last time I did one of those in competition was at our annual college relay meet my senior year. I didn't need to know any more about masters. The fact that they had 50s and 100 IM was enough for me. So that's a reading from chapter 8 of my autobiography, Odd Man Out, True Stories of a Gay Black Swimmer. Again, if you would like to buy a copy, it is now $20, but still, as I said, a great deal. Click on the link in the description box below, and I'll be glad to send you a signed copy. That's going to do it for part 9. Again, Happy New Year to everyone. I look forward to bringing you the remaining 9-ish editions of my 18-part video series through the next few weeks, and we'll see you next time.